missed today's episode of The Price is Right, you missed something big. The show gave away $80,000, and that was just during the Showcase Showdown.
That's a lot of cash.
Lightning struck The Price is Right on a day that should have been routine for everyone in the studio. A nervous college student stepped to the Plinko board, let her first chip fly, and it slapped straight into the $10,000 slot. Gasps filled the room as she repeated the trick 2 more times, piling up 30 grand in seconds. She raised her 4th chip, but the light snapped off and a hush fell like a blanket. Out of the dark, a producer leaped, snatched the chip in midair, and shouted, "The game is fixed." The words ricocheted through the darkness like a cannon blast. The crowd froze wide-eyed for 15 eternal minutes while stagehands scrambled behind the scenes. That hidden meltdown almost sank America's favorite game show, and CBS raced to keep every detail buried. To understand why that secret mattered, we have to rewind in 1956, when Bob Stewart paced outside WRCA-TV in New York City dreaming of something new. On his lunch break, he wandered down 50th Street, watched a lively sidewalk auction, and felt a spark. What if players guessed prices on live television instead of raising paddles for antiques? Stewart, seasoned in radio and early TV, took the idea he called the auctioneer to Goodson Todman Productions after meeting Monty Hall. Todman asked, "You got any ideas?" And Stewart fired back with a concept that would become The Price is Right. NBC rolled tape on the very first episode, November 26, 1956, with Bill Cullen at the podium. But disaster struck before cameras stopped. During the pilot, a missed stage cue sent Cullen crashing into a wall. Yet NBC had already bought the series, a common gamble in that decade. The network tried to back out and even offered cash to kill the contract. Yet Stewart and Todman held firm and forced NBC to honor its word. Their courage paid off, but they soon faced a storm sweeping through every studio in America. In 1958, a Dotto contestant found a notebook packed with answers for the next player, sparking headlines about rigged quiz shows. Investigators uncovered scripted winners on programs like 21, where Charles Van Doren played the part of genius after being fed every answer. By 1960, angry lawmakers demanded change, and most big-money quizzes vanished overnight. The Price is Right, though, survived because its rules were clear and almost impossible to rig. Contestants guessed prices of everyday items without going over. Bill Cullen hosted, Don Pardo announced, and viewers trusted every moment. The show exploded in popularity, landed a primetime slot by fall 1957, and became the first game show broadcast in living color. While other series left the air in shame, The Price is Right looked honest, so its audience grew even faster during a time when many felt betrayed. Nothing lasts forever on television. By 1963, ratings faded and NBC dropped the show, but ABC swooped in and relaunched it on September 9, 1963. Johnny Gilbert replaced Pardo. Celebrity guests played for random audience members. Yet the heart of the game stayed the same. Guess the price and never go over. Lever Brothers, now called Unilever, bankrolled the program and plugged Imperial margarine, whisk detergent, Handy Andy cleaner, and especially Dove beauty bars. Every contestant went home with a Dove bar, win or lose, a genius move that helped turn Dove into a global giant. Fresh ideas could not stop viewer fatigue forever. The primetime edition bowed out in 1964, and the daytime run ended September 3, 1965. One quirky headache involved the home viewer showcase. By 1959, viewers were so skilled that one prize bundle drew a 32-way tie, and producers dug through sacks of mail, then broke it by telegram and phone. Pure chaos. 7 quiet years passed until CBS revived the franchise on September 4, 1972, under a shiny banner that read The New Price is Right. Gone were the old quiz rounds, replaced by quick bids on grocery items. Players offered whole dollar guesses and still could not go over, and the half-hour format used only 3 pricing games. Yet the energy crackled from the start. By June 1973, the word new disappeared because the series had already reclaimed its crown. Viewers loved that anyone with good eye for store prices could win without trivia skills or lightning reflexes. In a nation still haunted by memory of cheating scandals, the honesty felt refreshing. Then announcer Johnny Olson hurled 3 words that changed pop culture: "Come on down." The studio shook every time he barked that invitation. Each shout made the crowd explode. Fans practiced at home, sprinted, danced, even collapsed in happy shock once their name rang out, and producers later replayed the wildest entrances to keep the hype alive. The next leap was massive. On December 1st, 1975, CBS stretched the show to 1 hour, giving room for 6 pricing games and a brand new thrill, the Showcase Showdown. Enter the giant wheel with 20 slices climbing from 5 cents to a perfect dollar in neat 5-cent steps. Players spun and prayed the pointer would land on exactly $1 for an instant bonus, worth $1,000 at first, then boosted as years rolled on. Engineers balanced the wheel so viewers always felt the dollar mark was within reach yet not guaranteed, piling suspense on every slow tick. Those 10 spins, combined with the lasting honesty of the format, etched unforgettable moments into TV history. Back inside that dark studio during the Plinko panic, security blocked every exit while executives whispered about damage control. Crew members herded the shocked student backstage, promising answers that never came, and the audience sat under blinding work lights until each person signed a strict non-disclosure form. The tapes from that afternoon were locked in a vault, and even longtime staff said they never saw them again, proof that the network wanted no repeat of the 1950s quiz mess. Bob Stewart later admitted that the Price is Right format looked simple on screen, but took complex math behind the curtain to balance fairness with surprise. Art directors measured every product, wrote prize cards in secret rooms, and changed tags minutes before taping to keep contestants from spotting patterns. Those careful steps protected the show during the wider quiz purge, a difference that saved an entire genre. When the revival arrived in 1972, the studio itself changed too. Bright pastel sets, flashing lights, and bouncy theme music wrapped the game in non-stop energy that made home viewers feel like they were in the crowd. Host Bob Barker, smooth and calm, guided the chaos with a ready smile and gentle jokes, cementing his role as the face of daytime TV for decades. As the Wheel era began, producers also introduced bonus showcases and themed weeks, everything from grocery giveaways to dream vacations, all meant to keep ratings climbing. Through all the ups, downs, and buried secrets, the magic recipe stayed the same: ordinary people guessing ordinary prices, while the nation watched and wondered who would win. One man glued every piece of the Price is Right together, and his name was Bob Barker. He stepped behind the shiny podium on September 4th, 1972, and did not let go until June 15th, 2007, a jaw-dropping run of 6,586 episodes. At first, Barker juggled 2 shows, sharing mornings with Truth or Consequences, yet the big will soon own his heart. After the death of executive producer Frank Wayne in March 1988, Barker seized the reins, shaped new games, and even dreamed up a primetime spin called The Price is Right $1 Million Spectacular. Every weekday, he closed the show with the same gentle plea: help control the pet population, have your pet spayed or neutered. That single sentence turned into a national echo that still rings in living rooms everywhere. When Barker finally hung up his microphone in 2007, CBS rolled the dice on comedian Drew Carey. Carey's first episode hit screens in October, and many longtime viewers held their breath, worried a laid-back newcomer could never replace the calm, classy legend. Bit by bit, Carey found his rhythm, kept the games intact, and sprinkled the stage with quick jokes and bigger smiles. He later told People magazine, "No matter how my day is, as soon as I get the prices right and walk through the door, it all goes away. It's just vibing all day." More than 269 episodes later, he is still spinning that wheel with easy confidence. Then came July 22nd, 2008, the day lightning struck the soundstage. A college student stepped up for Plinko, dropped her first chip, and smashed straight into the $10,000 slot. The cheers grew louder as Chip 2 banged into the same jackpot, and Chip 3 followed the identical path, a record-breaking $30,000 in moments. Cameras shook, fans jumped, and the air buzzed like static. The student raised her 4th chip, but floor director sprinted forward, slapped it from the sky, and hissed, "The game is fixed." Drew Carey froze, the curtain fell, and the lights dimmed while stunned audience members sat in silence for 15 endless minutes. 2 weeks earlier, marketing crews had shot a video game commercial on the same set. To guarantee flashy wins, they strung thin fishing line along both sides of the 10,000 slot, guiding every chip straight to the center. Nobody removed the rigging when regular tapings resumed. So the real show unknowingly ran with a loaded board until that impossible streak exposed the trick. Standards and practices raced in, ruled that the student could keep her hard-earned $30,000, then ordered a total reset. The lines were cut, the scene was res-hot, and the contestant replayed all 5 chips, winning $3,000 this time while the studio sighed with relief. When the edited episode aired on December 5th, 2008, home viewers had no clue that disaster had hovered just off camera. The secret stayed buried for years, whispered only among the crew who had watched panic unfold right before their eyes. Carey later told Sirius XM in 2021, "I'm going to jail. I'm losing my job. There's going to be a scandal," remembering his first shock as curtains slammed shut. He had been host for barely a year, and old quiz show laws from the 1950s still threatened stiff penalties for any hint of game fixing. Yet that near miss was nothing compared with the darker cloud that hung over Barker himself. Throughout the 1990s and beyond, women from the show began speaking up about harassment, discrimination, and fear behind the bright lights. In 1994, model Diane Parkinson sued for $8 million, claiming Barker forced her into a 3-year sexual relationship by threatening her job. Barker fired back that she had chased him, but mounting legal fees and health worries pushed Parkinson to withdraw, even though her claims cracked open years of silence. Model Holly Holstrom was fired in 1995 after medication caused weight gain, but she believed the real reason was her refusal to back Barker during the Parkinson storm. Holstrom filed a blistering complaint on July 2, 1996, citing sex bias, age bias, medical bias, breach of contract, and emotional abuse. She battled nearly a decade, turned down hush money, and finally accepted a multi-million-dollar settlement while keeping her right to speak. The fallout was swift. Veteran models Janice Pennington and Kathleen Bradley plus production assistants Linda, Reigert, and Cheryl Paris were all fired after supporting Holstrom, a clear warning that defending a co-worker could cost your career. Another staffer, Sharon Friday, filed suit alleging she was dismissed after enduring harassment and unwanted behavior on set. Model Lanisha Cole added fresh accusations in 2011, charging 2 producers with harassment and false imprisonment, proving the culture had not been cleansed by previous court fights. Allegations of racial bias surfaced too. Sworn statements said black contestants were marked with their be-on-call sheets and often held until the 3rd act, so earlier games featured more white players. Holstrom testified that Barker sometimes dodged hugs from black contestants, playing as a joke that felt anything but funny. Through triumph, turmoil, and near catastrophe, The Price is Right kept spinning, powered by the laughter of audiences who trust that the next bid, the next spin, and the next Plinko drop will happen in fair daylight. The show survives because whenever danger looms, someone yells stop, someone pulls a wire, and someone makes sure the game goes on the right way. Bright lights can hide the darkest secrets, and in 2007, those secrets burst out from behind The Price is Right set. Only 4 months after Bob Barker waved goodbye, veteran contestant screener Deborah Curling shocked Hollywood with a lawsuit that accused the show of racial bias, sexual harassment, and relentless emotional abuse. For 24 years, Curling welcomed hopeful players, yet she claimed the studio atmosphere crushed her spirit until she could not breathe. Her suit pulled back the sparkling curtain and revealed a pattern of silence where smiling faces on camera masked fear in the wings. Some employees lost their jobs, some lost their health, and others surrendered years to draining court fights they never wished to start. Her court filing described jokes that cut deep, job reviews she could never pass, and whispered slurs that rose above the ding of carnival bells on stage. By winter, the crew break room held 2 realities. One wall covered in fan art and thank you cards, the other buzzed with quiet updates on who might testify next. During tapings, microphones caught every giggle, but off mic, even the click of a dropped pen felt loud, because no one knew when the next outburst might arrive. Veteran camera operators swapped positions so new hires would not stand in the direct line of fire if tempers flared by the showcase podium. Drew Carey stepped into Barker's shoes in 2007, and at first his easy laugh felt like fresh air. That warm image fractured in 2025 when, on March 21. Insiders accused Carey of building a toxic workplace that ran on sudden rage. Staffers said he barked at people during tapings, snapped in private halls, and left at least 7 crew members weighing legal action. Behind the games, tension grew, and workers whispered that by late 2024, Carey's mood swung from friendly to cold without warning. In February 2025, he stormed off set mid-show, vanishing for 45 minutes, while selected contestants sat frozen with worry. When Carey walked off set, stage managers huddled around contestant hopefuls, offering water bottles and forced smiles while waiting for a green light that never seemed to come. Makeup artists fixed melting powder under bright lamps while producers negotiated behind thick curtains, each tick of the clock echoing like a drum. The unscheduled break forced the audience warm-up comic to stretch jokes, and even those jokes turned thin when the wheel sat still in the center like a silent judge. After the storm, Carey returned, quick grin back in place, and the show rolled on. Yet crew members later admitted they spent the next week expecting another eruption. 3 longtime crew members quit in early 2025, declaring the studio had become hostile. Even the episodes themselves started to wobble, and December 12, 2024 turned into an online circus. 2 bidders offered the exact same number. One bizarrely guessed $10, and a Safecrackers player could not follow simple steps, prompting Carey to repeat rules again and again. She finally won a television and asked, "Oh, I did. Where is it?" Drawing stunned laughter while another contestant in pushovers shoved every block clear off the stand. Only one player, Linda, beat her game that day, yet the chaos rocketed to 2.3 million YouTube views in 48 hours. Next came February 2025, when players tried to price an iPhone 6, and bids of $7,500 and $7,051 left the crowd gasping before Carey joked, "I hope the marketing people at Apple are watching this." The quip split the internet, with some cheering the dig and others cringing at a host mocking his guests on live TV. On November 2024, a smaller stir erupted during Line 'Em Up when Agnes rearranged numbers for a car, and Carey stated, "You have to change this to a 2 because the 4 is wrong." The audience roared suggestions. He repeated, "They want you to make this a 0. And Agnes claimed the car. Critics said he guided her too much, yet insiders insisted copying crowd shouts breaks no rule.